What is up, people, and welcome back to our channel, and with that, welcome back to Jonas' journey coming from a powerlifter and transitioning to a weightlifter. Today we will review his 4th week of his journey, and to kick off the session, Jonas, just give us a short overview of how your week went and what were the key things which you've done within your week 4 of your journey.
Yeah, as you see in the videos, we were still training in the home gym setup last week. So the first 3 training days of last week, I still had to train outside in the driveway section of Mike's parents, where we basically built our own platform. In the process, we also noticed that the platform was not ideal, so we basically modified it a little bit since the stones below the platform were cracking and the setup in general was not perfect. But we trained there last week, and then for one session actually we went to another gym in the Netherlands in Groningen, which was also quite interesting, but overall the sessions went quite okay. What was probably not the smartest idea last week is that I went running for 3 kilometers on the rest day between my first and my second training day, which really threw me off last week. Basically gave me really sore legs, and I felt quite slow the days after. So that wasn't the smartest move, but except for that, the week went quite good.
Have you received any specific feedback from your coach last week, which you try to improve overall in the upcoming weeks?
Yeah, so 2 main things, basically, except for the main things that I need to focus on: the squat depth and the hip opening stretches and drills I'm doing. So the 2 things were that I'm supposed to leave my arms longer when I'm pulling, since I always tend to work a lot with my biceps, and when I'm pulling, for example, in the clean, but also in the snatch, I'm always initiating the pull with my biceps, which is not ideal. I try to basically focus on keeping my arms straight, keeping my elbows locked, and then to fully extend them during the pull and basically not bend them. Second thing, in the clean pulls and doing the snatch pulls, my heels always leave the ground, which I'm not supposed to do, and that was the second thing I needed to focus on. It was actually quite hard, since the basically most tricky part for me is to keep my back straight, keep my chest up, and then I always tend to lose focus on my foot and on my foot pressure, so it's hard to actually keep on the ground during these pulls. I think it worked quite well for some reps and for some days during my last week.
I think that's one of the hardest things in weightlifting, that the movement is so fast. You try to think of all the steps in the respective movement which you're doing, but then if you think about the second step, it's already too late because you are just moving actually very fast. But it comes with the time that you can focus on single things, and the other things are just functioning like they should, without actually thinking about those. Was there any specific moment which was super frustrating for you in that week?
Yeah, that was basically on my last training day. So in day 4, my first exercise was the hang snatch, where I'm basically snatching from a hang position. So the bar is basically starting at the middle of my quad section, and I need to basically accelerate the bar and get it overhead. And I really had some issues with the technique, and then also with the overhead position, since we're training in the driveway and the roof was not very high. So in some instances, when I was standing up from the snatch, I was actually touching the roof, and these factors, so the technique not being on point and then me hitting the roof quite often, was quite frustrating. And yeah, that was the, I think, worst day or the worst exercise of my training week last week. Except for that, I think the other days and exercises went quite good. Maybe we can talk about this later. But for my day 3, we went to the Netherlands to train in a gym in Groningen, which is basically a powerlifting gym. We checked it out previously on Google Maps, and the gym looked quite okay. They had platforms, they had weightlifting bars, bumper plates, but when we got there, it was really busy. Mainly powerlifters training there, so all the platforms and racks were taken, so it was quite hectic. And when you try to focus on technique, try to fix a specific spot when you're doing your exercises, and try to remember all the cues that you've been given. It was quite hard since there was just so much going on around you. That was quite tricky, but I think we still made it work. You can also see that in the videos that we lay over this clip here, that the gym was quite hectic, but overall I think it was a good gym, good atmosphere, and many serious powerlifters there.
Yeah, that's in general always a hard thing, that if you train somewhere else and the circumstances are not perfect, for example, the platform is too narrow or you have a wall right behind you, so you don't have enough space. This is something which sticks in the back of your head and you think about it, even though you actually don't want to, but you're actually having this pressure of, okay, now the lift needs to be super good or at least good. Those type of things build up pressure, and then it's even harder to get the technique right and to stay focused. But I think you made a good job, and I think it's also a good exercise or a good thing to practice, because even though if you would go to a competition, you also have other circumstances, another environment, and you need to adapt to that. So it's good from time to time.
And then we are also going to be releasing a separate video where we're going to be reviewing this gym more in depth. But to give you a quick sneak peek, one problem we had in this gym was that there were really few bumper plates. So there was always it was always quite tricky to find the sufficient weights that you needed in that moment. And since the majority of the people there were doing powerlifting, all of the bars basically and all of the weights were taken. So that was quite tricky, but I think we adjusted quite well. And I also spoke to one person there at the gym, and they are basically aware of that problem and already ordered more bumper plates, so weightlifters can also train properly there in this gym, since there was also, at the time when we were there, just one other weightlifter, basically saying that weightlifting is not 100% popular there, but they are aware of the problem and trying to fix it.
Was there any moment which was super rewarding, or where you felt, now I actually feel that I'm making real good progress last week?
Honestly speaking, not really compared to the previous week. I think the progress has been stalling a little bit, mainly because I was most of the time training by myself, and there was not anybody just basically coaching me face to face and giving me technique cues in the right moment. Maike was there as often as she could, but not always. So on some days I basically trained by myself, and it's definitely possible at this stage, but when you're still making a lot of technical errors, I think it makes more sense to have one person right next to you, teaching you face to face and correcting your mistakes basically right away, so you don't make them anymore. So that was the thing I noticed last week, which is why I'm glad that we are back here at the weightlifting club, so we can trade together in a bigger group and basically get technique feedback right away.
Have you also adjusted your nutrition, or are you planning to adjust your nutrition plans?
Not really, just eating maintenance calories at this point, which is for me around 3,500 to 4,000 calories, which basically gives me the freedom to stay at the weight where I'm currently at. And yeah, I think I don't need to get much heavier for weightlifting at this point. I think even it would be better to be a little bit more lighter, to be a little bit quicker and more agile. But right now I'm just eating normal. One thing I actually noticed was I was wearing my Apple Watch during some sessions last week, which I normally don't wear during my training sessions, to just see how much calories I'm burning and how I'm performing in general. And I noticed that the rate of calories I'm burning during my training sessions is really high compared to regular weightlifting or bodybuilding sessions, which is currently I'm thinking about maybe upping the calories a little bit to basically adjust to my calorie need that I do have at this point.
So now, taking the learnings from this week, do you plan to make any adjustments in the next week? Obviously, you get your plan from your coach, but I mean, outside of your actual program, do you plan to adjust your recovery routine or anything else in your daily life?
Yeah, obviously next to stretching on a regular basis and getting my daily activity and steps in, I always, or actually implemented to, or I'm actually planning to go to the sauna a little bit more often. Actually now I'm trying to go once a week. I'm maybe upping that to 2 times a week, starting from my next training week. I always notice a positive aspect or a positive feeling after going to the sauna, especially after being in a hot Finnish sauna and then cooling off after. That always feels quite nice, and I do feel that it positively impacts my recovery. I wasn't able to do that during the last 2 weeks since I didn't have access to a sauna in our hometown, but now I do have access again, so I'm trying to do that more often, and except for that, maybe upping the calories, which also gives me more base to recover, and this should hopefully prep me quite well for my next week and for my next training sessions.
Nice. We are curious to see how it's further going. Maybe in that regards also a little announcement for the watchers. From the upcoming weeks onwards, we will change our cadence of the videos from weekly to bi-weekly to even give you more ground, more detailed review, and also show you a little bit of more progress compared to previous weeks and how Jonas' journey is evolving. And with that, I would say that's it from us with the video. We hope you liked it. Let us know in the comment section if you think that Jonas is making good progress, and also let us know how the home gym setup looks for you and if you would consider that as a proper training option if you are not able to go to a full, or if you're not able to go to a super great equipped gym. And up until then, Jonas, you want to say something?
And if you've made similar experiences with building up a really rough home gym setup, please feel free to share your setups, how you've done it, how you've handled it. Feel free to send us your pictures on Instagram. We're curious to see your setups. And I think until now, we'll see you later, or we see you in 2 weeks, and take care. Bye bye.